Oh, something a bit special then. Rubbish interview. So, Brian Dickson, how you
Hi,
doing?
I'm
So,
good.
so head brewer.
Yeah, head
North,
brewer,
yeah.
technical director is the technical term, but
There you
yeah,
go.
head
Bit
brewers.
more info.
Head brewers easier.
Yeah. So yeah, Northern Monk up in Leeds. So how do you know Eddie and stuff?
Eddie taught me to brew, basically. I worked at a pub in Huddersfield called The Grove, and
Yeah, yeah.
the landlord Ian used to drive down here every couple of months and just fill up the van. Uh, Eddie's the kind of guy he likes his beer to stay in East Kent. You know, he's very proud of his
Yeah.
East Kent Goldings and the local
Absolutely.
market, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, so the Grove was very much an anomaly that he kind of accidentally allowed to happen. So we had that good friendship, and then me and Ian took up the idea of me learning to brew, because I was not going to do anything with my music degree.
Yeah.
um, we reached out to Eddie, and he's like, "Yeah, come down for a few months," and I was like,
So how long was you here for then?
"Just a few months."
Just yeah.
I did a few months here, like living and working with him, and
Right.
but he's a incredibly like, process driven, um,
Oh,
diligent brewer, like proper engineer approach as
well,
well,
when it
and
comes to cask, he is
yeah.
probably one of them kind of pioneers within the UK
Yeah, absolutely, and
cask scene at least.
yeah, and just the way he pioneers English hops. You know, he's doing quite modern styles just with British hops. You know, like number three, like clean, crisp, 5%. Like the
Absolutely.
base of that beer, you could load any American hop in that and it would sing.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
he chooses to let the UK stuff do their thing and
And
really
does,
well.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly that. So yeah. So what year was it? He kind of.
2011, I was down here.
Oh, okay.
So back in 2011, and I came back in April 2012 and brewed my first ever recipe. We did a little collab called The Graduate. Um, and I realised that I saw Eddie in SIBA Beerex in Liverpool in March, and I was like, it's been 10 years since The
Yeah.
Graduate.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Let's
Time.
rebrew it. So
Yeah.
Eddie came up to Leeds last week, and
I did see on Twitter.
yeah,
he was,
Eddie came back up, so we've rebrewed my original recipe, which will be in like the OFS Cast collections. So
Awesome.
that was nice. It was the first time I brewed in a while as well. So
Yeah.
nice to hook up with him again.
So yeah, I mean, how have you seen the progression of Gad's Brewery here in Ramsgate since you were here last?
I mean, I last came down here 4 years ago, and we had an event at Ravensgate. And not too much has changed. He just
Yeah.
do what he does. There's no real. Obviously, it's bad to say there's no real ambition, but you know he's making beer for a very same market. So what he is doing, I'd say, he's invested right next to us is like
yeah.
this little gadget around here is a CO2 recovery machine. So he'll be one of. There's currently only 6 breweries in the UK that have CO2 recovery, but this guy over here is he's he'll be one of the first microbreweries in the UK to be recovering the CO2 from fermentation and purifying it, and he'll either reuse it for carbonation or he'll sell it. And so that's just it's something. It's been unavailable to a lot of small breweries like these green technologies, and
Yeah.
so he's pioneering in that, and just little things like that. He's an engineer at heart, and he loves finding those, and then I say as a guy, Eddie himself just loads for the industry. That he's heavily involved in like campaigning for better beer duty and stuff. So
it's definitely fine tuned. Even some of his original recipes, he seems to have fine tuned it to an amazing kind of level, really.
Yeah, I mean that's a big part of brewing. I think we're at that point with Faith now where it's just like constantly refining it to be a better beer.
Exactly. Yeah. So getting back to obviously where you're at. So Northern Monk. How has that been, especially sort of from the start, right through to lockdown, etc. How has it unfolded over the years? It's a big question, but over a long period of time. But yeah.
Yeah, it's changed a lot the last few years.
Yeah.
That's largely by necessity. Like we've always done a bit of supermarket volume. Like just we always tried to keep a nice even split. A little bit of supermarket, a little bit of export, UK on trade, UK off trade, etc. Obviously we were growing our supermarket presence anyway, but then obviously lockdown happened, and one channel we had that was thriving was supermarkets, and it's just, people's jobs online. You've got to
do it.
You've got to throw into it, and now we're just trying to balance out again. But we actually grew a lot during lockdown. I think we're a little bit of an exception to the rule. We're lucky we're doing well, but we already had investment lined up too as well. So like the actual brewery's grown a lot in the last couple of years. It's quite surreal, quite it's a proper large production site these days. Ooh, show the belly off. There we go.
Yeah. It's nothing as bad as the other day for me, Jesus.
Oh yes, it's a
That
few years.
was like a side-on one. It's like, yeah.
But no, that's we've just got a lot more professional. Like the quality side's changed a lot the last couple of years. Like we've got to the point, I think our operations and processes are caught up with the kind of scale we're at now, which is great. So like there's a honestly, I'm not that involved in day to day. I've brewed with Eddie. It was the first time I brewed in about nearly 2 years. But we got some incredible people on the quality and production side that run production, run the operation side, run the quality side. Like our quality manager Tanya, she came out of Goose Island. She was heavily she was like century lead on the Bourbon County project.
Awesome.
So decent CV there. Like
absolutely.
Pietro, our production manager, he's been through Brewdog and a few others, and they just we spent a lot of time just fine tuning recipes, fine tuning the specials, fine tuning our processes, and just so it's consistent, and we know the brew team know what they're doing on each beer, if it's a core beer or our patrons, what have you, and also knowing that we're making the best beer we can, and always fine tuning that. So it's become a much bigger operation, but I think the beers. Touch wood, I think with the new brew house we got as well a year or so ago, we generally think we're making some of the best liquor we've ever made. So
because you had a fantastic GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Happened, like, what was it?
2018, I think. 17 or 18 was the crowdfund. Yeah, that was. I mean, that was unreal. Like basically triple what we're going for, and I mean that paid for the canning line, which we're still using, which is thriving, and more capacity, and all great. And then it's. That was a huge surprise, and also a huge benefit to the growth.
The way that went, I was like, wow.
It's insane. It's amazing to have that much support.
Exactly right. You must have felt quite overwhelmed, I would have thought.
Yeah, mind blowing. Absolutely, there's absolutely humbling, mind blowing. All those words, they're all true. It's we couldn't believe it. Absolutely couldn't believe it.
So. I don't know if did you open up a tap room in London, or is that in the process?
London didn't happen in the end just because of lockdown.
Because I knew there was rumours.
It was.
Then the world went on fire and stuff, so it's like
It was lined up, and then the world went on fire, and so I mean it changed the world. One day it will happen. I'm sure one day. Where do
you think, Bermondsey, or is it going to be that end? You don't know.
Play it by ear. We had a site lined up. We're probably only a few weeks from signing on it, and it was in hindsight it was great that it didn't happen because it'd been just another expense. But so we're not doing anything this year. I think next year we'll revisit and get back to.
That'd be cool.
At some point we'll get back to trying to spread the refectories a bit, but for now just the two.
So back to the brewery up in Leeds then. Beer festivals that you've been hosting since 2017.
I think 17 was the first Top City was 17.
I've done the first, I think 17, 18, didn't do 19, and then shit happened. And I went last year, I didn't go this year. So how's that been since you moved from the refectory to the actual brewery site?
It's been really good. We made the decision to do the 2021 Hop City at the production site. Just we had a big open space, and with COVID, post-COVID restrictions, but obviously trying to be COVID safe, natural concerns.
Yeah, outside.
I don't think it works, and again this year, the weather was incredible.
Yeah, last year it was ropey.
That year was ropey, but I think
still good.
Everyone was just so happy to be outside.
They didn't care. Yeah, it's one of them sort of things.
But this year was fantastic, and it's just more space. It allows us to. Hop City is always a slightly bigger festival. Obviously, Dark and Wild as well. Much more niche styles, much more niche. Middle of October, late October, November. So that will stay at the refectory. So we're bringing it back this year. Just I say now things have settled down. So
I'm thinking about going up to that. I've not been to that before, so
I love it. It's a shame we did the Dark and Wild format just once in 2019.
Yeah, sure.
Having that floor of imperial stouts and then the floor of the mixed firm and your saisons and lagers and stuff upstairs.
It's become very popular, of course.
Yeah,
that,
and
that whole.
or even since doing it in 2019, like the number of UK breweries now, pretty like with mixed film offerings is unreal. Like there's probably two or three mixed film specialists who aren't going to be on the lineup because there's a limit to what we can do, and it's unreal. And when 2018, 2019, you're like there's maybe 3 or 4 we can ring up, and now there's probably a dozen or more, 20 breweries doing having mixed film like a regular offering.
Exactly. I mean, especially the breweries we have now, like in the UK, like Little Earth Project and like Yonder, obviously.
Yeah.
Burning Sky, which is one of the
Mills are obviously hugely popular, and then they're spreading up the country as well.
It's crazy.
He says trying to remember the name of the breweries that I've tried recently, but
I've tried. There is a lot.
Unheard like breweries. I've just a new brewery to me, and I'm like, oh, who are these? And I'm like, oh, they're a mixed film brewery from Scotland, or a mixed film brewery from Yorkshire, and you're like, oh right, and they've they're hitting the standards so quick, and
it's almost that and lagers as well. That seem to be the two kind of like Brewer.
It's wonderful. Like it's just a
utopian.
I guess it's a maturity of the industry. I guess to a point. It's nice. Like Mark Burn Sky's been going for 5-6 years, but it was only the last couple of years where he generally I think got the respect he deserved. His mixed firm, his cool ship stuff started coming through, and it's good. Let's say you look at basically in the States, and every single style is done to a world-class standard, and the craft side of the UK is catching up to that now, and the drinkers are respecting that now, which is a big part of it.
There's a lot more knowledge now within the people who drink these beers as well, compared to say 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's a natural progression. You encounter these beers, and bit by bit they get wider, and and then the mixed firm's never going to dominate the market, but a healthy industry's got. It's just we've got that nice balance of styles. There's more to the world than just hazies.
I think it does seem to be very flooded with that. I mean, I've found myself going more to the pale ale side of things these days, just because you can drink more of it, but it's still got the flavour profile and etc.
Yeah, I did. So I had this. They put me in charge of social media wrongly the other week, and did a little Q&A, and I can't remember what the question was, but I was nobody's buying double IPA anymore, and there was a massive, and the comments were like uproar, but it's true. Like every brewery's, combination of saturation, combination of cost of living, combination of just
there's so many factors.
Health reasons, what have you, but like double IPA, triple IPA, things like that, they don't move quite as fast as they did. And
the triples are very good, but then personally, I'm not sure if there's a need. And with that is
there's a need occasionally, like the odd one. When every breweries, when there's like 5 or 6 getting launched a month, then you're not going. It's too much. 10%.
It's like
this room. Like I say, it'll balance out. It's good to see. I think I've always said like. What I love about UK brewing is that when you take like what UK brewing's done for so long, which is just good quality session beer, and then you bring in the New England influence, you bring in the American influence, and like session IPAs in particular, I guess a perfect example of that. Like when you bring UK brewing, I don't know, culture I guess to those styles, and you result in that. So more session beers, more pale ales, and just you still do that with huge amount of body and flavour, versus what the rest of the world are doing. It's just what the UK does. We're good at it.
So kind of like to wrap up then. So going forward for the brewery, what plans you got? Is there any collabs coming up? Obviously, your Patreon project is. Yeah,
exactly. Like
that kind of thing. And is there anything coming up?
Keeps them rolling. Yeah, I mean, Patreon projects. Keep doing the 2 or 3 a year. That's never going to change. So we've got a few collabs coming up hopefully.
Cool.
Try not to.
I
can name a lot of names, but then I'd be in trouble. But all the hype ones have just come out now in the back of Hot City. But now we've got obviously Dark and Wild's coming up, so we'll same deal. We'll try and line up a few collabs around that. And
cool.
So there's some pretty.
There does seem to be a lot of collabs around them 2 festivals.
A lot in barrel as well. So as is often the way back in the year, there should be. We've got the last Tom Joy and the last Tom Newell are both new barrel aged imperial stouts, which should be good. Right. So they'll be out this year.
Cool.
And then so obviously the mixed firm program started to see light as well.
You brought that
little bottles. So
that was pretty special.
We've got a fair number of barrels. Not be big volume, but obviously Dark and Wild coming up, so we'll try and get at least a couple more of those bottled and ready. Awesome. And we'll probably do 3, 4, 5 of those a year, just as and when things are ready. Really, there's no real set plan for them, but it's been nice to finally bring that out and
Yeah.
have that string in our bow,
It's
and
really good.
to do dark and wild with
Yeah.
actually with where we've actually got a wild
bit-
offering, which will be good. So
You say out your comfort zone, or compared to what you used to brewing?
yeah, of
or-
course, yeah, it's definitely an unknown, and
Yeah.
obviously you can read everything there is to read and try what there is to try, but
Yeah.
actually, and even then we've done it and it's turned out well, but even trying out the barrels, you think this is good, but
Yeah.
until it's actually bottled and natural bottle conditioning, there's plenty can go wrong there as well. So until it's out of the world and everyone's trying it, enjoying it, it's hard to know for sure that you've done a good job. But
Yeah, sure.
and let's say we try and be world leading in everything we do, So
Yeah, no, absolutely.
we want to make sure hopefully Northern Wild will be up to that standard, and we'll keep it going. And we've got a pretty good idea what the next 3 or 4 releases at least are going to be, and
That's cool.
we're pretty excited about them. I think they're all to some standard. Touch wood, touch banister.
Yeah, sure.
We'll see. But
No, cool. Well, thank you very much, Brian. So that's Brian, Brewer.
cheers.
Well, Mike. Cheers.